Hi everyone! Today we're going to change Applejack into a custom Tinkerbell My Little Pony. The first thing we have to do is take off all her hair. I'm going to try to remove as much hair as possible, but it's okay if you can't get it all, because we're going to cover it up later with air dry clay. Now we have to remove the cutie mark and her eyes. I'm going to use regular nail polish remover. It takes a while to come off and you're going to see a lot of black smudging from the eyes. But that's okay because we're going to paint her later. And that's good enough. Next, we'll start using air dry clay to turn this pony into Tinkerbell. I'm using DAS, but you can use any kind of air dry clay you'd like. Just make sure it's air dry and not polymer clay that needs to be baked, because you really don't want to put your pony in the oven. Let's start with Tinkerbell's hair. We'll take some clay and shape it on top of the pony. We're going to want to make sure to cover all remaining pieces of hair sticking out at the top. And I have a small dish of water off to one side. I keep dipping my finger in. It helps smooth the clay. Because Tinkerbell wears her hair up in a bun, I want to make it look like there's hair being pulled up and back, so I want a little bit of bulk back there. And in front, I'm going to shape a triangle piece and make it look like a lock of hair. Now we'll just add a bunch of different size triangle shapes to make the bangs. And we'll add a ball for the bun on top. I think I'll just add one more lock of hair and smooth things out a bit. I'm using the end of a paintbrush and a plastic butter knife. Whatever's nearby that'll work is perfect. Now for the dress. For the front, we'll make two triangle shapes that kind of look like tree leaves. And then we'll just cover the rest of the pony's body in clay. Remember to add clay underneath too. Okay, so I've let all the clay dry, and now we're going to fill in the bumps and ripples with more clay and make sure everything is smooth. I also want an even outline for the dress, so we're going to make a thin snake shape to outline the top, then blend it in. For the bottom of the dress, we'll make triangle shapes that hang down around the edge. And now we let all the clay dry. All right, it's time to paint. I'm using a multi-surface acrylic paint. It's a light colored flesh tone. And I'm going to paint just the face and the legs. So the first coat is probably going to look pretty terrible. We're going to see the original pony color showing through, and it'll kind of look wonky. But don't worry, after a few more coats, it'll start looking good. Just remember to let the paint dry at least an hour between coats or you could end up with a goopy mess. Here she is with several coats of paint. I'm pretty happy with it, so now we'll start painting her hair. Tinkerbell's hair is a beautiful bright yellow. So we'll paint her hair with several coats. Just keep painting until it looks very bright and solid. Here she is so far. I think it's time to paint the green dress. First coat, second coat, and this is after several layers of paint. I also want to add just a little bit more detail, so we'll outline the edge with a dark green. And if you should happen to get paint where you don't want it, you can use a wet Q-tip to clean up the paint before it dries. It just wipes right off. Or you can touch up the paint later with the color that you want. For Tinkerbell's eyes, we'll fill in the pony eye indents with white. And we'll start making Tinkerbell's lips. We'll use pink, and of course it's going to take several coats of paint to start looking solid, but this is a start. Tinkerbell's eyes are a light shade of blue, so now that the white is dry, we'll give her big round eyes. Next, we'll fill in her pupils. Then we'll outline the top of her eyelid with a fine tip paint pen and give her some eyelashes. Next, 2 white dots in each eye for highlights, one big and one tiny. For Tink's shoes, we'll paint her back feet green. Try to keep them as even as you can, and this should take about 3 layers of paint. Now Tinkerbell needs wings. Using a pen and paper, I drew out the shape, and it looks like it might work. So now we'll use some clear plastic from old packaging and trace the wings and cut them out. Once they're cut out, we'll use extreme glitter paint by Folk Art because it's translucent, glittery, and sparkly. After that layer, I'm going to use some blue and white glittery paint mixed together to make light blue, so the wings have a dash of color on the other side. Now we'll want to attach the wings to Tinkerbell's back. But not so fast, Grasshopper! To do this, we have to first make a small edge that we can use to glue the wings to the back. So I'm going to make a small snake shape of clay and place it where the wings will meet the pony's back. Now let that dry. And while we're waiting for that, we can make 2 small ball shapes for the little puff balls on Tinkerbell's shoes. Now that the clay on the wings is dry, we'll paint that green to match Tink's dress. And we'll paint the puff balls white. This could get messy. After everything's dry, we'll glue the puffs and the wings in their proper places, and that's it. Now you have a custom Tinkerbell My Little Pony.